Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
Dave Akers put his second season in a row of really good play for fantasy as he got multiple opportunities once again in the kicking game. Before this resurgence, Akers had a few years of disappointment, and I believe that in part that the reason for that was because of Brian Westbrook. In the time that Akers was having his worst seasons, Brian Westbrook was having his best seasons in fantasy. As also remember, Akers used to be back in the day. He was a really good fantasy option as a kicker. I do believe because something with Westbrook. I think when he was doing really well, they were converting more touchdowns, and that was providing him less opportunities. Plus, also in that time, you didn't have a Terrell Owens on the team. You didn't have even a Deshaun Jackson on the team. And so, they were really hurting in the receivers area for Donovan McNabb as well. Right now, Akers is our number 2 kicker. I think the only reason that I've really got him down at number 2 instead of being at number 1 over Rob Baronis is because he doesn't really get enough deep kicks. He only had 1 conversion from 50 yards out. The other thing is, and it's not that big of a deal to me actually, it should be a big deal that he lost Donovan McNabb, and then obviously Brian Westbrook hasn't been around. So you're just losing talented players that can move the football. But in Kevin Kolb, I'm fully convinced that he's going to be able to move the ball in West Coast offense. Usually quarterbacks don't have a problem moving the ball up and down the field. The problem that they tend to have when they're early on, even in their starting careers, even though remember Kolb's been there for a while, is that they have trouble converting touchdowns. So that should mean that Akers should see another 30 plus more maybe 35 to 40 even opportunities again this season, and he may get a few more opportunities from 50 out as they're going to need his production to keep him in ball games. The good thing that they also have is they started rebuilding that defense even last year. They've added even more talent in there, so I would expect their defense to play good football, and that should keep them in a lot of games and should keep Dave Akers active throughout the season.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy football.